Libra, good morning. Welcome to your intuitive reading for the month of December. So, we have a really dope reading. It feels like we've accessed some ability to really harmonize ourselves with our environment, to learn how to take pauses, to relax, to transmute the energy that is not ours. Maybe any sense of a false charge or fear that might have been motivating our lot of actions is shifting this month. Oh, how gorgeous. Okay, so in the recent past, we have the Empress and the Six of Cups. So, this I feel is really being connected to the divine, being motivated by really beautiful things, like motivated by a desire to help people, to be of service, to offer yourself. Um, and it feels like people are seeing you, you're being witnessed. And in the near future, the chasm shrinks as you step across Seven of Discs and the Ten of Coins. So we kind of are able to gain access to those next three coins by facing some fear, some maybe dependency, an addiction, a cycle that we're breaking through. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy, Libra. So in the hidden, unseen influences, we have the Daughter of Wands with the Five of Cups. So it feels like the need to triumph over woe is me attitude, which might come to a head with the full moon in Gemini happening on December 4th. So this is timeless through the month of December. Look back to December 4th if you're wondering about this energy. And the ability to triumph over it will be the same energy that we need, that we're kind of gaining this muscle for, which is to leap across any tendency to sort of reduce ourselves, to play ourselves down. I love how my figures have like they're either dressed or they're not dressed. They're either wearing these like long garments or else they're not. And Libra, for me, it feels like um, there was something that we were doing to dress something up, like to hide something or to prevent something from being seen. And it almost feels like we're shedding that layer unapologetically. Aquamarine, this is trust. The Nine of Coins is in reverse, and the Priestess of Discs. So it almost is saying to, because we already have the Ten of Coins in the near future. So hidden potential. This Nine of Coins card, the man is holding a watermelon. He looks really happy, and he seems to have been reaping this harvest. So maybe it's like you guys were used to having to change your identity, Libra, before you can actually access something. The Priestess of Discs is speaking to cultivating a state of mind that is open and accessible to the truth. Parrots represent truth and animal totem symbols. So let's dive a little bit deeper. So we have that full moon new moon coming up on towards the end of the month at 28 degrees Sagittarius. And before that, we had a new moon in Scorpio at 28 degrees in our second house. So the ability to communicate with ease what we think, to really get on the right side of our mind, to really motivate ourselves, to feel like we're capable of things. I wanted additional cards for this Nine of Coins. We have the Wheel of Fortune with the Seven of Cups. So it almost feels like we're intuiting something in the month of December that will allow for us to stop having to um, sorry, trade our identity, trade who we authentically are at the heart of ourselves for something that is more palatable, something that people can digest easily. Whatever this is, whether it was done for status or done in the past because of fear, because of feeling misunderstood or cast out. We have, wow, psilocybin commune. So I'm going to pull herbal cards for all of the spread and go back over it. Psilocybin and commune is definitely speaking to channeling through the pain body, or not channeling through, but like exploring the pain body with a detached perspective and seeing where we ice ourselves out of community. Temperance and the Empress are both cards that are by themselves. And perhaps and we see that this fertility figure has a horn. Sorry. The horns are usually blown. I used to have a Mary Magdalene tarot deck, and they're born at very specific times. Like people are called to blow them, and they sound the horn, and it's just a reverberation that goes out. And perhaps it's something that people don't do every day. Perhaps in December, Libra, you guys are accessing and making replicable something that people don't do every day, and you're figuring out how to do it. In the past, we have Lavender Weaver and the Empress with the Six of Cups. I feel like there was something like reality set in for us, maybe in the month of November, to where we really have a clearer view than we might have had all year, like a culmination point in December. It just feels right. It feels like Sagittarius to Capricorn season, our third and fourth house, um, gaining a handle with Jupiter retrograde in our 10th, how we nurture ourselves into taking the steps that we need to take, the leaps of faith that we desire to take. I have my last four cards, which I have four now. We have Cannabis Detachment with the 10 of coins, 7 of discs. Chasm shrinks as you step across. So this is telling me that we can't neglect our well-being. Any addictive tendencies or patterns that we have been accessing, maybe as we wait for our projects to come to fruition, for again that sense of being seen and celebrated to really sink in and become something that we're comfortable with, because perhaps, Libra, we haven't been that comfortable being seen, and due to that we would change our identity to get what we want, but they were never the desired results that we truly wanted with our heart, mind, body, soul. Because if we have to change our identity, who we authentically and truly are, it never really works out. It never pans out. Things don't feel as good as they could. So this is that Five of Cups and Daughter of Wands, maybe feeling like we'll never have it as good, but remembering that this is a delusion. Again, culminating on this full moon, the chart is nuts. We have North and South Node at 13 degrees. We'll have the moon at 13 degrees Gemini, sun at 13 degrees Sagittarius, Mercury at 22 degrees Scorpio, Chiron at 22 degrees Aries, and I believe that there's like another net 4 in the chart somewhere. Lacuna journey. So I would say that this is going to be more of an emotional journey that we take, or we are at a point in our journey where we are breaking out of not seeing things as they are, or not seeing ourselves as worthy of what we have acquired, of how we have established ourselves, changing up our routines, changing up how we communicate, learning to tap into our telepathic gifts and intuitive abilities, like instantly, to where we're no longer waiting for scenarios to kind of get out of hand before we're on top of them. We're more so allowing ourselves to connect the dots, to be available for ourselves and our needs and our desires in ways that we really haven't done before. That feels like, it feels like what's really changing with Pluto in our fifth house, Libra, our solar fifth house, the ability to advocate for ourselves, to believe in ourselves, to really, with Pluto at 1 degrees Aquarius direct after having gone retrograde, and now it will go direct, not to retrograde, back to this degree in our lifetime. It just feels like we're ready to innovate where we haven't been ready, and we're ready to communicate our value where we haven't been ready to communicate our value. It's truly us defending our ideas, our concepts, and standing up for ourselves, allowing for ourselves to really love who we are at the core, and that to be what motivates us to show up as ourselves. So, for the hidden potential, 2 net 6s, Sage Blessing and Yarrow Harmony. It's a blessing to be harmonious inside and out, and to welcome what we truly want, rather than entertain, I would say, more of like the delusions of the mind, or a feeling like, excuse me, the cycles in life keep defeating us, they keep looping, we're never getting anywhere. It just feels like this clarity of mind is different from maybe this very watery Neptunian energy, with the sun, sorry, Pisces hosting both Neptune and Saturn in our 6th house of daily life. Our routines, again, that ability to communicate intuitive insights, the ability to advocate for ourselves, to want to be the best version of ourselves, it just feels super loud, super clear. Also, with Uranus and the moon today at the time of reading in our 8th house, I just feel like we're going to be more willing than ever to take certain bets on ourselves, to take certain leaps, to really see our false evidence appearing real shrinking as we are able to honor what we're building, to honor our legacy. This is like lovely divine energy. It just feels like we've gained a handle on our mind, and our mind is not working against us in the ways that we are used to having and experiencing self-sabotage. All right. So, ecological connection, that just feels like the loudest. Learn about points of transition by observing how they exist in nature. Visit a place where two different ecosystems meet. This could be a shoreline, a forest edge, or the borderland between a wild space and a developed urban or suburban space. How do these two adjacent places interact? Gosh, anecdote. I used to explore in the suburbs, like around my house growing up, golf courses. And I remember finding a little stream, and it was so magical. And I've seen deer in the woods, like probably not the best because people like to hunt out there, but needless to say, I was an adventurer from a very young age. And perhaps those memories that we have where people kind of were like, what are you doing? That's not safe. Poo-pooing our sense of adventure, we're over it. And we're willing to have adventure, to claim our identity for ourselves, and to not need to please everybody, because quite frankly, it's exhausting to try to live in a way that's pleasing to everybody, and we never get our needs met, which is where the Six of Cups in the past has come in. It's almost like we've traded out the desire to constantly be people's perfect cup of tea to being who we authentically are, and thus having a niche, attracting the right people, and letting other people who are kind of on the fence about us figure themselves out, because it's not up to us anymore, Libra. And Uranus in our eighth house is really empowering us to be true to who we are. Chiron in the seventh house is allowing for us to face down how we've shown up in relationships, how we want to show up in relationships, how we would like to cultivate our best self to be the most authentic and real version of us to get more out of this life. Okay. What does it feel like to be in that liminal space with access to both worlds? And I honestly love that we have the Seven of Cups here, with the Priestess of Discs, because it's almost like the Priestess of Discs is accessing this point and this perspective of divine connection to the higher self, the higher mind, without needing to change up their identity to reap the rewards of whatever it is that we're harvesting. Okay. Excuse me. All right. So cross the chasm from dwelling in a human ruled world to living in a humans in collaboration with the nature world. Many of us humans have been shaping nature to serve our needs and conform for centuries. Often we create whole new land formations and ecosystems that harm the native land, species, and ecosystem. It's so funny. This book isn't written very well. Sorry, guys. There are, however, ways to manipulate nature that restore and maintain harmony with the native environment. Choose one way that you can manipulate nature that helps bring it into balance in some way. Here are a few ideas. Replace non native plants in your garden with native plants. Pick up trash from a wild area. Use a trash picker and or gloves to protect yourself. Volunteer with a local reforesting or trail restoration group or plant nursery. Learn and implement more sustainable gardening methods in your area. Gardening feels huge. It feels huge. Not only do we have the Seven of Discs with watermelon, but the Nine of Coins with watermelon. So it feels like some of us need to be planting some arbuz, some watermelon, some melone, something to really give ourselves that extra sense of ease around our natural garden, what we could do for ourselves, what we like. If you don't like watermelon, then, avoid it. But if you do, maybe it's time to start planting some. I've seen it grow naturally out of the ground. It's pretty amazing how simple food can be versus how we complicate it and complexify it. Import Support Indigenous peoples' rights to their land through Survival International, Cultural Survival, Forest Peoples Program, or a similar organization. There's more resources at the back of this book, which I don't necessarily suggest. Okay. Ask yourself, what if the hard things you face are easier to get through than you think? And what if your fear is actually a form of excitement? I want to read the Nine of Coins to know what fairy tale this is. I had someone poo-pooing me reading, but what's that saying? It's like hide information in books, no one looks there. So here you go. The Legend of the Watermelon, Vietnam, a Vietnamese legend. The Nine of Coins represents success, hard work, and patience have resulted in a successful harvest. And now even the emperor enjoys Mai and Tian's watermelons. The road was long and hard, but the rewards are well worth the effort. So, independence, prosperity, freedom, maturity, self discipline, and in reverse, scam, superficiality, overinvestment, work obsessed, and ungrateful. So, perhaps it's like we're learning how to not be so work obsessed, to overinvest, and to be ungrateful for our outcomes. That's where the priestess of discs is cultivating that state of mind that is at peace. And she has all of these things she's growing and harvesting, and she understands her truth. She understands the harmony of planting something, having faith, watching it grow, making sure that you are making the most of your time and the outcomes that you actually achieve. Rather than wanting something else after you've achieved whatever it is that you've achieved, that learning to relax in that sense of contentment before the cravings arise again and we neglect what we've created as cannabis is speaking to. Aquamarine represents hope. It's long been a healing gem associated with the sea, which I love the element of water here. It's like we're no longer, or we have to face down where we feel bad for ourselves, where we have self pity over hope. And then it's almost like this jubilance, this wheel of karma is able to lighten up. We're able to enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, to see the seed, to see the fullness of the plant in the seed. The month of December feels like we're going to have a whole new level of faith, the ability to manifest results based on our faith and to enjoy our life's journey based on the faith that we are exactly where we need to be. Okay, do not be seduced by vivid imaginings. That would be this. So, learning to discern what's real and what's not real within what we see. Wishful thinking or spiritual claptrap, use your imagination to create what is for your highest good and well being follows. If you fall into depression, remember that hope shines in the darkest places. Release self defeating programs, listen to your inner guidance, but be objective, accept what's on offer, watch out for idle gossip, tie up loose ends before moving on. Remain emotionally detached. So, ding, 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 there we go. Avoid procrastination. Success may come in a court case. Stay positive and remember your family. There is no reason to lose the hope in your heart since well being is a state of mind. Libra, you guys have a briefer message than everyone else, but just know that your energy seems simple, as simple as you can make it. Have hope, detach from the need to have specific outcomes, and be present for whatever is showing up in your life as a reward for what we have been sowing the seeds for. Thanks for tuning in. Drop me a like, leave me a comment. Let me know how you're doing in the month of December, and I'll see you in our next reading. Aloha.